Tony, you're playing a character George.
George, yeah.
Now, I interpreted him as being a bit of a nasty piece of work on the quiet. Would you agree with that, or...?
Well, there's layers. There's layers. Like an orange, there's different layers. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah, he's got a good heart. He's stable and he looks after his family. And if he's backed up in the corner, then anybody's going to get aggressive.
He knows how.
Darker side of him that you don't. It's there, but you're not shown it. Do you know what I mean? That he keeps it to himself.
Except for one particular scene.
Yeah. So everybody lets loose every now and again.
It's very
Yeah.
true.
Yeah.
When you're making a film like this, do you base your character on somebody that you know in particular, or is it a culmination of people that you may know or have heard
I
of?
always think that you're talking about my technique in particular.
Yes, yeah.
I think if you base it on one person, then it becomes a bit more too much of a caricature. So you can either draw your own life experiences. Not that I've handled guns before, but draw it from different experiences. That's what I try to do, and give it layers. So in depth is what you need. But with a glass of Jack Daniels, it really helps.
Definitely. Well, the nice thing that you get from the relationship between George and Bill, who we'll talk to later on, the actor, is that they have this incredible backstory. They've been friends for a long time, and I wondered how, or did you both discuss, where your roots came from to get to the point where you both are in this film? Because there's definitely history.
No, you know what? It's funny because you can prepare yourself a lot. You can go out and have a few drinks with the actor that you're supposed to build a relationship with, or you instantly get on with that person. And so that's what happened to us. We instantly got on with each other. We're both actors. We're talking about struggling and talking about good and bad and ups and downs and stuff like that. And we didn't have to kind of spend hours me telling you all about what George or Tony Resta's like, and then you just click. We clicked. I think that's the difference.
Do you think it's refreshing as well? The film.
He was very generous, you see, as an actor. So if he's generous in a scene and doesn't want to, it's good, and it builds. Yeah.
Do you think as well that your character is a brave man come the end of the film?
No, I think he's a pussy, but. No, brave. I mean, he does what he does at the end. So is that brave? Because he's going to escape, isn't it? Leaving all this shit for everybody else. So say shit. Can you say shit?
You can say that.
Okay, all the shit for everybody else. And is that brave? I don't know if it is brave. Really,
And what do you feel about his relationship with his daughter Georgia?
Constant worries, and just like any parent with a child, really. But I think the relationship, the communication kind of break down. Kind of like wouldn't know how to express himself and open up to his little one, and didn't want to bring her down that route. How the character felt, and I think George kind of always kept it to himself, and Bill understood him, and it's tough out there, as in that world. It is tough. Do you know what I mean?
Definitely.
So, but you see a comical side of it all, and gangsters. If they are the gangster, I don't know. You look at me. I'm a gangster. I don't know what. See, the gangster. What happens, I think, is that there's a circle where a gangster in a film copies I don't know what they see in the documentaries or whatever they want to portray a certain gangster. That gangster looks at that film and thinks, oh. There's a story about the Goodfellas, for example. Can I mention another film? Is that the people that Goodfellas portrayed, they were real characters, and those in real life, kind of like, well, wow, I'm in it. I'm that's me, man. And so they started copying the kind of mannerisms and the way to be. I said, that's what we got to do, man. We've got to touch our balls every now and again.
Jack, you are the lead, and you're playing Chris. He seems to me the kind of middleman fixer. Would I be right in saying that? Everybody seems he's the go-to guy.
Chris is the go-to guy. Yeah, I think he's definitely the go-to guy for the character who plays his kind of I can't even remember the name of the character.
Chris.
No, I know, but my kind of Bill. Bill definitely just throws everything at him, and he definitely seems to be the guy who kind of gets dealt the rubbish card and has to go sort it out, basically.
And what struck me from seeing obviously the film to beginning to end, there's definitely more to the character than meets the eye. So was that fun for you as an actor, playing that out and kind of exploring what he's capable of, really?
Yeah, I mean, I hadn't really had much experience acting before, so overall shooting the whole thing kind of felt like, by the end I felt way more confident being in front of camera than I did from the beginning, if that makes sense. And I think in a way that kind of worked with the character because he kind of progresses and grows slightly by the end of the film, if that makes sense.
Absolutely, yeah. There's like an arc of the character, really, it develops.
Yeah, and I felt like I had a personal arc because, you know, I kind of became more comfortable by the end. Yeah,
that's interesting because is it your first first feature film? So, you know, were you nervous when you first had to step out in front of the camera and there's all this there's crew around you? You know, how did you deal with that in the beginning and, you know, and to where you are at the end where you are starting to feel more comfortable?
I felt really nervous at the beginning. My main issue was feeling like I was going to be the one that screwed everything up. And I think I was just basically helped by the fact that everyone was really calm and really professional, and just there was a generally really good atmosphere, especially when there were harder scenes. And obviously Barry was really good as well. I think what helped a lot was that when he would sit and do the script with us, quite often we would change the language to suit us more. You know, so if we ever felt uncomfortable saying something, it felt like it didn't quite right or it was a bit jarring or whatever, he was kind of open to us changing it and making it more our own, which, you know, helped you be a lot more comfortable in terms of what you were saying, how you were acting.
When I first read the script, she stood out as different to the other characters in terms of class, quite honestly. And also, when I went in to meet Barry and Alex and when I auditioned for them, that was a point that they made. And I think that's what makes her character so interesting, especially in terms of the relationship between Chris and Georgia. That kind of difference in their upbringing actually makes their relationship a lot more interesting, I think.
The other thing that's kind of crucial to the film and what makes it an intelligent piece really is her dyslexia, because how her dyslexia actually changes the course of what she does. Is that something that you picked up on yourself, and did you look into dyslexia as part of your research?
Yeah, I mean, we did a lot of kind of discussion about all of our characters. There was a lot of that before we even started filming, and also while we were filming as well. You know, it's a constant thing, you know, when you're on set and, you know, discussing, oh, but this is why she does this, and then discuss a bit of her background. And I definitely think that, again, in a similar way to her class, it makes her, that thing about her stand out, that kind of adds the little, you know, twists to the kind of plot, and it's not, you know, it's not so simple and kind of conventional, I guess, in that respect.
And you're working with a director who's written his own script. How did that also benefit you? Was he open to you coming with ideas and maybe improvising a bit?
Yeah, absolutely. I think what's so great is when you work with the director who's written it himself, he knows what he wants, but then there's no kind of restrictions. You know, he doesn't have to go to someone else. If you say, well, actually, I'd quite like to do it in this way, you know, he was very open to discussion. And there were scenes where I went to him and I said, you know, Barry, how about we do it in this way? And he'd either say yes, or he'd say, well, yeah, we could do that, but then why don't we do this as well? And it felt a lot more comfortable. You know, like I said, it didn't feel like there were kind of restrictions to it. So
more organic, really.
Yeah, exactly. It kind of just developed as we went along, if you know what I mean. There wasn't just a kind of rigid structure to it, which was good. Yeah.
Now, your character he's a bit of a wise guy. Is that how you'd see it?
I say he's got his head on his shoulders. He wants to make a life for himself, not in the right way, but at the same time, he doesn't see much options, so he goes for what he knows and is trying to do something, and then things don't work out. So, you know, but yeah, he's a bit naive as well. You know, he uses violence as his first option, I would say. You know, there's better options in life than that, of course. But yeah, I think it portrays quite a realistic side to certain parts of life, you know. So yeah, nice.
When you're portraying a character like him, do you are you looking at people that you kind of know to
I grew
compare?
up in the area myself. The area, some of the shots where it was the area I live in, and I've grown up there my whole life, and I have a few friends who are involved in some of them kind of situations. Not to the extent that was in the film, but it was quite a second nature to me in the terms of, like, I've seen it a lot. The culture I'm in is a very urban culture, so it came across it was quite easy for me to get into that role and get into that, yeah. So it wasn't too hard, yeah.
And being on the film, what was the experience like, and what did you get from doing that?
I do media myself, like in university and stuff like that, so it was a great opportunity for me to do that. I love acting, I love performing, so yeah, it was what I took from it was a lot of behind the scenes kind of thing for my own personal benefit, and as well confidence-wise and learning that I can do this, and it came quite naturally to me, which was good for me. So I knew if I wanted to take it as a career, I could go for that, and yeah, it was an amazing experience. You know what I'm saying? What we pulled off on the low budget we had, do you know what I mean? It was a lot, and it was like everyone was really friendly. We got on with the stuff. We worked hard. We did a lot of takes, and yeah, it was good to know how things work behind the scenes, and yeah.
You've just been described to me as the young, impressionable one in the film, but can you tell me a little bit more about that?
I don't know what to say. He was the youngest of the three, so he didn't get into as much as they did, but he wanted to. But at the same time, they sort of looked after him as well as leading him down the wrong path. But like the ending, how it turns out, I don't know whether to say anything.
Best not. Not be do a spoiler.
But yeah, the ending was quite pleased with, but it was kind of sad. Even when I watched it back, I was a bit like, oh man, but yeah.
It's interesting because all of the characters in this film, the one thing that they've all seemed to have in common are they're survivors, aren't they, really? And they're doing their best to survive in a tough world.
Yeah, it's true. Well, we all sort of come from quite a rough area, so like we was told as well, it was scripted, but a lot of it was sort of improvisation, if that's a word. We took what we knew and then added it in, and that did add to the film. I think that did make a big, that did add the icing on the top. But Barry did well. He did really well. It was fantastic, man. We loved it. It was really good.
I was going to say, what did you take from the making the film, from the beginning to where you got to in the end?
There was days where we was in like cars and we was hitting limits that we wouldn't hit normally, and there was like guns and stuff. It was amazing. It was a 1 in a million experience, and yeah, I'm very grateful for it. I've loved it, every minute of it.